We have not identified anything anomalous or any national security or public safety risk over the civilian airspace in New Jersey or other states in the Northeast.
What do we know about what's occurring? Well, not much. Even with all the updates that I could give, we just don't know anything. And when it comes to the government or NASA, aka never a straight answer, the more silent they are, the more concrete my belief is that they are hiding something, and they typically are. And one of the most recent updates on this situation that broke just yesterday was a joint press conference where officials from Homeland Security, the FBI, and other agencies stated that they still, quote, do not have definitive answers regarding the origin of these drones. Big surprise. And this is actually pretty comical to me, because instead of doing their due diligence and giving us some real answers, all of these different governmental agencies couldn't even put out their own press releases or information. Instead, they all just got together and put out a single sheet of paper, the way I read it at least, telling the public that we don't have the right to know what's going on, because you can bet your bottom dollar they know more than they are letting on, and that's always been the case. So they put out this joint press release claiming that there is no evidence of any nefarious activity or immediate threat. But at this point, it's starting to sound like the same old government playbook. No answers, vague assurances, and zero transparency. And meanwhile, the sightings continue. And here's where it gets personal, because over the past few days, similar drone sightings have been reported now in Ohio, specifically Columbus and Hilliard. And let me remind you guys, this isn't far from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which has a history steeped in UFO lore. If you remember earlier in the week, when this all first started, these drones ranging from little tiny ones to ones that were the size of cars, not only were just swarming, the sky or coming from the ocean, but they were surrounding military complexes and bases. And the same appears to be happening now around Wright-Patterson here in Ohio, which for decades, researchers and locals alike have believed to be the real Area 51, and I believe that as well. So definitely look into Wright-Patterson, or if you know anyone that has ever worked there, or if you live nearby, post your comments down below. And so something is happening here, and it raises questions, big ones. And to be frank, a large part of this situation is pure confusion. And I think that's by design, just to get us to look at the skies, knowing that we would start putting our own drones up into the air. Meanwhile, the government is doing something else behind our backs as we all stare at this news. And then everyone starts to become hyper-focused on the skies, which has led to a lot of regular aircraft and drones getting misidentified. And let's be honest, people are making this worse by sending up their own drones to chase these things. And it's very dangerous, and it's delaying answers for us, because now we've got drones, and videos of those drones being posted, and it's turned into a mess. So, it's totally chaotic, but mysterious and a bit nerve-wracking at the same time, because there's so many theories as to what could be happening. And so let's go ahead and move on to some of those theories. And I'd like to start out with one of the more interesting ones, which was depicted in a video that recently surfaced on Twitter from a guy with experience in aviation and drone tech. And his take was that these drones are part of a government operation to locate a lost nuke. And you heard me right. A missing nuclear asset or weapon potentially sitting somewhere off of the New Jersey coast. The idea is that they're using specialized drones equipped with radar and detection tech to scan the ocean floor under cover of darkness.
Hey everyone, my name is John Ferguson. I'm the CEO of Saxon Aerospace here in Wichita, Kansas. I'm not normally a TikTok kind of a guy. I like watching this stuff every once in a while. But I'm a manufacturer of unmanned aircraft, military-grade unmanned aircraft, as you can see one of my systems here. There's all of these mysterious drones going on. off the East Coast, and as a professional, as a subject matter expert, I wanted to give you all my opinion on what I think could be going on with these drones. I don't particularly believe that these have a nefarious intent. I could be wrong, but I want to give you the truth and what I believe. It's my own opinion, and I've not bounced this off of anybody. So, if you think it's bullshit, whatever, that's cool. I don't want to spread misinformation, as we know that there's a lot of that going around. But anyway, back in the 1980s, Ronald Reagan had dismantled the nuclear program, and there were, with Russia, there were countless nuclear missiles that were disarmed and disposed of. Well, there were over 80, I believe. There were over 80 nuclear warheads that were in Ukraine that came up missing. Okay? We don't know where they are. Maybe somebody does, but nobody really knows where these are. And I speak with some pretty high-level government officials on this stuff, and it seems as though that is the case. So I spoke to a gentleman a few months ago who was trying to raise an alarm to the highest levels of our government, which they had their ears closed, about this one particular nuclear warhead that he physically put his hands on. He physically touched this warhead that was left over from Ukraine. And he knew that that thing was headed towards the United States. Okay? That is a very serious deal. And everyone knows that the United States government, this administration, is pushing to get into a war with Russia. We all know that. We all feel it. We all see it. Okay? Well, back up a few years. Do y'all remember when those drones were mysteriously flying across the Interstate 70 corridor from Colorado up into Nebraska, down here into Kansas, and out into Missouri? Well, it was believed that those drones were looking for radioactive material because there had been some material that came up missing here in the United States, and they felt like it was high probability that the nuclear or the radioactive material would be taken along the Interstate 70 corridor heading east or west or south. So from what we understand, they were out there trying to find this radioactive material. Now, drones, they have no reason to be in the air at night unless you're doing some type of ISR work, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, looking for bad guys, or looking for a victim, a search and rescue victim, or law enforcement, or some type of military project, right? There's no reason for a drone to be flying at night, really, okay? Because they don't see shit. So, unless you have thermal optics, drones really don't see stuff. You need to do mapping during the day. If you're going to do farming stuff, you mostly do it during the day. The only reason why you would ever fly an aircraft, an unmanned aircraft at night, is if you're looking for something, whether it be a person or trying to smell gas. We have methane gas detection systems that can detect gas leaks in pipelines. You really wouldn't use thermal optics for trying to find gas leaks, just simply because the only way you're actually going to find a gas leak with thermal optics is if the gas leak is aggressive enough that it has a difference in temperature. Because thermal imaging, it creates a digital image based off of the temperature variance. So whatever is different in temperature, it creates an image. Gas, usually gas leaks so slow that it goes quickly into ambient before you can even see it. So we have special sensors that can detect gas leaks. We also have special sensors that can detect radioactive material. So With this gentleman that I had spoken with, who was trying to raise the alarm to try to get somebody in the government to say, hey, we need to work together to go try to find this nuclear warhead, none of that ever happened. They knew that warhead was on its way to the United States. That's all that ever came of it. Nothing ever happened. This government did not do anything at all to help this gentleman raise the alarm and raise awareness that there is a very deadly weapon on its way to the United States. It's out there. Nobody knows where it's at now. It left Europe. Now it's gone. So my guess, my own guess, is that these drones are not nefarious in intent. If they are, they are, but I doubt it. But if they are drones, the only reason why they would be flying and flying that low is because they're trying to smell something on the ground. That's it. There's no other reason for a drone to be flying in the air other than to piss a bunch of people off at night. That's it. So, my belief is they're trying to smell something on the ground. Gas leaks, radioactive material, whatever. So, and do I think that they're coming up out of the ocean? No, I don't think so. Drones that are multi-copter type drones, not the fixed wing aircraft that look like regular airplanes, but the multi-copters, they only have so much battery life. They have hybrid versions that are gas powered with electric, but those can still only fly for a short period of time. There's no way in hell that any drone is going to go miles off the coast as a multicopter and fly into the interior of the United States and do a bunch of work and then turn around and fly back. It's just physics will not allow that to happen. So these drones, I believe, are launched from a location that nobody knows, but I do believe that they're flying low enough that they're just trying to sniff the ground and try to find something. So, again, I hate to be a pessimist or a guy that thinks, directly to the negative. However, I know as a professional, we build professional stuff for the military. I believe that they're actually out there trying to smell something that's very important. So anyway, let me know what you think of this video. I'm not trying to gaslight. I'm not trying to scare people. I'm just trying to let people know that this is a serious deal. It's only serious for what the potential could be, or for what the potential is. There's a lot of them out there. They're flying all over. They're flying low. They're flying at night. There's no reason for it other than to smell something. So anyway, God bless. I hope you all have a wonderful Merry Christmas, and let me know what you think of the video. Thank you.
And while this theory is kind of out there, it's also very interesting and I think completely plausible because stranger things have happened. So yeah, I don't know if this is the case, and a lot of people on Twitter seem to think that while plausible, there's just something bigger happening here. But the prospect of a lost nuke is definitely something, it's food for thought. Could these drones be part of a foreign surveillance operation? Sure they could. Could they be advanced military tech, ours or someone else's? That's a real possibility too. And yet, despite all the agencies involved, we still know next to nothing. So where are we now? We've got drones emerging from the ocean, being spotted near critical infrastructure and military bases. We've got Ohio sightings near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base happening now. We've got government agencies putting out their usual non-answers, theories ranging from UFOs to lost nukes to foreign surveillance, or maybe something is happening below us or underground, and only time will tell if that could be the case. But the way my mind works after 13 years running this channel, if the government tells me that it's nothing, then it's definitely something. And the way this all suddenly occurred, and the fact that now everyone's looking up, it really makes me wonder what's happening down here on the ground. But hey, more food for thought. So as of right now, what we know is that something isn't adding up here, and that's my personal opinion. Something is happening. And I'll say this, when you have this many moving parts, this many agencies involved, and still no answers, it only fuels the mystery. But I truly want to know what you guys think, so are these UFOs of an alien nature, military tech, something foreign, or are we witnessing a larger operation that's being hidden in plain sight? Please drop your theories in the comments below, and of course if you've seen anything strange in the skies, send it my way, because this story isn't over, and you can bet I'll be watching it closely. There very well could be some sort of otherworldly invasion happening as we speak, and all of these drones that we're seeing are merely a smokescreen from what is really occurring, and there's just so many theories right now, and the situation is so fluid that it's very hard to tell. But from what I've seen, and the way some of these things are acting, and the fact that people have seen other craft in the skies that aren't drones and aren't airplanes, but are what are described as the silent black triangles, just sitting in the sky, doing some pretty, otherworldly maneuvers. And so I'm looking for footage like that, because as I said, anything is possible.